Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Steve Moran here with my good friend Doug, the BTC Guru Yates. How you
Hello,
doing,
Steve.
Doug?
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Last I talked to you, you were heading off to a kind of an event to go talk about all kinds of cool Bitcoin things, right?
Yeah, out in San Antonio, Texas. It was great. Got spent Saturday and Sunday with a lot of like-minded people. Basically, first of all, wanting to change their own lives
Uh-huh.
using blockchain and cryptocurrency and learn all about it. You know, from the highly technical, Litecoin is a huge alternate coin up there, and people from the Litecoin Foundation organization was there. You know, the guys that know the whole technical thing, like backwards and forwards inside of their head, and
Mm-hmm.
all range of ages, all over the nation. From teenagers up to 80-year-olds, all wanting to change their life and then change their local community to affect the whole world at large using
Right.
uh, this new technology called blockchain and Bitcoin as basically the base of the commerce of it. It was really exciting. Got me all fired up.
There you go. Did you yeah, there's a lot of Bitcoin stuff in the news. You know, it's been kind of it's bumped down. I think at one point it lost about 19% or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I've been looking at the headlines this morning, and they're all kind of like the same. There's nothing that really jumped out at me as like, oh, hey, this is pretty cool. But most of the 80-90% of the pundits are saying, it's just a correction. We're looking at a little correction. It's got to take a little breather. There's
and it's a
still
good
that
time to
$20
buy.
worth of go ahead.
A lot of them were saying it's a good time to buy.
Yeah, excellent time to buy, which is happening.
Right.
Everybody, in my crowd, everybody I know in my crowd used it as a buying opportunity. I got a couple texts at 3 a.m. saying, "What's going on?" And and I said, "Hey, just relax." Biden tried to put a little wrench in it by saying, "Hey, I'm going to tax the heck out of it," which is whatever.
Yeah, it's
There's
not a
always
short-term play, guys. It's not a
yeah
short-term play. We're not in
no
here day trading this stuff to try and make money today and tomorrow.
but
This
one
is a
interesting thing.
long-term play.
I had a shirt on and had my logo, this down there in the corner, all embroidered on the shirts. Turned out pretty cool. But I was on the plane coming back, and this, I think it looks like a college-age kid about in his 20s, pointed at it and said, "Hey, what's the hot coin?" I said, "Bitcoin's always hot." And he's like, too expensive. And I'm like, wow, that is, I mean, I understand his thought. It's $50,000+ for one Bitcoin. But if you take, and I did this with my partner over at Market Hive, Thomas Prendergast, we took the Bitcoin chart, lifetime chart, and then we overlaid all the major hot altcoins over it.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin outperformed every one of them. If you would put your money into Bitcoin and your growth inside Bitcoin outgrew if you did the same thing in these altcoins. Now, there's some peaks and valleys that are bigger on the altcoins, but nobody ever hits the lowest, buys it. I was talking to another buddy,
Yeah.
a friend, about charts, and you look at the chart, and historically, you're like, well, so easy. I could have bought here, and I could have sold way up here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
nobody does that because
Nobody
at
does
the
that.
time, you don't know that that's what's going to happen. You might get a little bit in the middle there, make a little money,
Right. Uh-huh.
but it's just interesting fact. It's a great exercise to do, and I'll next time I do it, I'll record it, and we'll put it out to everybody about how the long-term Bitcoin chart basically outperforms any altcoin that's hot at the present moment.
Well, I mean, you can almost think about it as, you know, I like sports cars, right?
Yeah,
If there's if there's only a certain amount of Ferraris that are made, okay, you know, those are going to a lot of them are going to they're going to maintain their worth, okay?
right.
But there's a lot of variables that get involved with each one of the vehicles, right? Some of them are brand new still. Some of them are driven a lot. Some of them aren't driven very much. Some of them have been accidents, okay?
Right.
So it's like, you know, being able to invest into something like that, it's like you still are kind of blind with it. Like, I mean, the Bitcoin, there's only going to be this. I mean, these young people, they should be thinking about their future, their
Yeah.
retirement type of thing. It's like, this isn't something for tomorrow. It's not something for next year. It's not something for the year after. This is something that you can put money into, and without a doubt, I mean, there's literally, I don't think anybody in the world that's got half a brain is going to be able to tell you that it's going to be worth nothing in 20 years. I mean,
Right.
right?
No, yeah, everybody, if you look at all the news in general, the pundits and the naysayers and the people that are completely negative, but that none of them say it's, we're past the point of it going to zero. We're past the point of it going away. The critical mass is getting there as far as it's here to stay. The next critical mass is the total adoption critical mass, which is, in the very near future. And that is what's going to drive the price even higher. I mean, we're just at the beginning. And that's, another thing that reminded me at this conference was that came out too. We're just at the beginning of this.
And this isn't like when it was 4 years ago. I mean,
right. Oh, yeah.
4 years ago, I had to watch it because I was getting paid in Bitcoin.
Right.
And it was like, okay, it depends on what time, if somebody sends me money, I think back, well, it was like $17,000 or something back then when I was getting Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And if I happened to fall asleep before they sent me the money, I might have woke up and it might have been around like 13 or something.
Right. Yeah. No, it was tricky to know when to sell when somebody paid you in Bitcoin if you needed some fiat to pay some bills and stuff.
And that was a big percentage of it. When you look at that 4,000, that drop, that's not near as big a position, when you're talking about 50,000, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
But when you're talking about that, it's like it's a big drop, and it's like, oh, that's expensive sleep, Okay. And again, if you're just holding on to it, it wasn't expensive sleep, but that's how we all think. When we see these dips in the market, we all just kind of get a little bit of panicky with them, and we think that, oh my God, we lost money or we're losing something. But if your long-term play is to hold, it's not a worry at all.
Another thing that was, it was a dynamic in this group. This group of people are very freedom-oriented people. They're very DeFi-oriented people, which means, everybody has their own little thing and we all kind of work together as a network, right? So like decentralization, DeFi is where there's a little piece of the pie all over the place and we all work together to, like in the blockchain, there's many, many nodes. And you have to have a certain amount of nodes that verify a transaction before it gets put into the blockchain ledger, and then it's there forever, and everybody can see it, right?
Right.
And I saw it interesting down there, and this is great, awesome. We talk about it. We go, we want our freedom, we want our decentralization freedom, where there's no centralized control of this. But the dynamic is so. And we want that to replace our existing system, which we believe is being controlled, right?
Right.
But the funny part is when we're coming up with solution for things, people want to control it. And I'm like, hey, you're just replacing the people here.
Yeah, you're just moving the shells around the board.
Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic with us humans is we do want freedom and liberty and us to just, raise our family as long as we're not, harming somebody else. But when it comes down to it, we also want control, and you got to be careful. And that's where you and I think what we're doing here is so important. And what they're doing, in this group is the education part of things to really educate. And you got to really change your mindset that let the chips fall where they may. So let's decentralize. Let's not have a central part of control. And if bad stuff comes in there, it's going to go away. The only example I could have is the town crier is saying something, back in the old days in the middle of the village, this guy's yelling out, sky's falling, sky's falling, sky's falling, right? The old fable.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the sky doesn't fall, and then eventually he's sitting in the middle of the town yelling at nobody, right? That's kind of how decentralization, that's kind of how DeFi it's supposed to work. Not hey, I want to set up this new way of doing it. It's going to be very freedom, but if you don't pass my test, you can't come into this group. Right. And I'm like, well, hey, that's exactly what we have now. I mean, I don't want to replace that with you. It was an interesting dynamic. I was sitting on the edges and looking in at this. That we have as humans, we have a tendency to really lean that way. We got to train ourselves, educate ourselves about how powerful this blockchain is, the Bitcoin is, how powerful decentralization is, and how we need to accept it with its good parts and its bad parts, and let the chips fall where they may. Let the people there to come in and try to control it could end up controlling nothing because they can just basically reduce it down there, control themselves. I'll throw it back to you. I was talking too much.
The decentralization, we say we want it, but again, at our core, I think we're all creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And we say we want change, okay, but a lot of times we really don't want change, internally. So you have these, you have this internal conflict. And I think it's kind of like a lot of people, we say we want decentralization, okay? But then it's like a lot of people look at banks as like protecting their money and protecting their assets and things like that, right? So we're people are fearful of that. They're scared of, what happens if, how does that work? Because, it's literally, but it's kind of like, if you look at those banks, all they are is they're like, it's like Hollywood. It's just like a front of place, right? It's just a front. It's not, they don't have everybody's money and everybody's assets all in there. It's all digitized. It's all somewhere else.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's, I guess, a good analogy is kind of looking at like Amazon, right? Amazon's really just kind of cut out a lot of the middlemen.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? And that's what this really does is it cuts out the middlemen, but the middleman is like the banks, because, you'll be able to, hold your money and be able to have all these things. And, people feel secured because the bank, quote unquote, insures your account for a certain amount of money or whatever. But it's like, when you have the blockchain stuff, you don't have to worry about that. Nobody can get in and take your stuff.
Right, exactly. I was trying to wire some money last week at a bank I've been at for 25 years. They know it's a regional bank. It's a town bank. They know me. I've been there. I've had many businesses in this town, both brick and mortar and virtual. The lady I talked to is the same lady I always talk to. She knows who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm not living in that town right now. I'm away, but my banking's still there. And I just wanted to wire this money, and they're giving me so much hassle. Like every time I call in, the same lady answered. She knew who I was. I had to go through the whole protocol. Okay, that's right. Let's keep things safe. But it still took a week for them to approve this freaking wire, and it wasn't that much money. And I'm like, this is crazy. I shouldn't have to explain myself of why I want to do this wire. I'm doing it for my reasons. I'm doing it, and I'm not doing anything illegal. And they know that. They know who I am. They know all the parties involved of it. And they still were basically giving me hassle and wanted to know more. Every time I would call back and say, hey, the wire stopped again. Can we take care of it? They would ask me more questions of why I was wiring the money. And
it's crazy. Banks don't even want to accept cash. My mom needed some monies, and I went to her bank, and her bank is Chase. Okay. I walked into Chase, and I put $500 in, and I'm putting money into my mom's account, and here's my IAD and this and that. And they wouldn't accept my cash. They're like, we won't accept cash from from outside customers. We just don't accept it. I'm like, you're a bank. I mean, you don't accept cash?
I had the exact same.
They're like, no, Apple. There's a lady saved up to a bunch of cash from her Social Security and stuff like that to go out and buy herself a new iPad.
Right.
She went out and stood in line, for the new launch of one of the new iPads. And she went into the core app, the brand new Apple store. She gave them the cash and they said, well, you don't accept cash, man. We can't take cash anymore. We don't take cash anymore.
I know, crazy. But one of the greatest
company in the world. You don't take cash.
It baffles my mind. I had the same experience with you. As I was depositing it was one of my family members' account at a Wells Fargo, or it was Wells Fargo. I won't mention their name, but their name was Wells Fargo. And the lady said the exact same thing. We don't take cash because you don't have an account here.
Yeah.
I go, but are we in the United States of America? She goes, yes. I go, is this a US dollar that I'm giving you? And she's all, yeah. I go, you won't accept it? Well, we don't know who you are. I go, I got ID here. You can verify who I am right here.
Right.
And I told you exactly what I was doing. It's my
We don't know where you got the cash from.
Yeah. And I'm like you said, you're putting a couple $100 in, right?
Yeah.
That's all I was doing, is putting a couple $100 in.
Yeah.
Giving a hassle. But I think the conclusion, if we want to kind of full circle and bring this back around, is that's the beauty of the blockchain is it has no, like we've said this before, no emotion, no agenda. It does what it's supposed to do. It's a very simple thing it's supposed to do, is move something from one digital place to another digital place, verify that works, and do it within the cryptology that'll keep it safe and secure. And that's it. and we could go on with a life and do our business how we want to do a business. Now, is there going to people that are going to try to use it nefariously and try to do bad stuff with it? Of course, that happens all the time.
Yeah, that's how the world is. Okay?
Yeah. But eventually they're going to get caught up. They're going to get run out of society. They're going to get caught. You know, most criminals eventually it catches up with them because they only have to make one mistake. But you know, in my mind, 95% of the people out there are trying to be an honest, you know, hardworking people that just want to raise their family, feed their family, and enjoy the fruits of this beautiful earth that we live on.
Yeah. You know, we told everybody last week that we were going to have some stuff here for them this week. And it looks, you know, I just got a text this morning. It looks like we're getting close. Hopefully, maybe today we should finally have the final pieces of the puzzle put together. Where we're going to be able to show everybody how to earn while they learn, how to really go out and make some money here and get educated about this wonderful market that we're all involved in.
Yeah.
We are still working on the final pieces of the puzzle and should have some more news here for you shortly. Anything else for today, Doug?
Yeah. Let me just add on to what you just said, because I talked to some people about that when I was there, and people come in to conversations with all of their past experience and preconceived notions about certain things. And so what Steve and I are trying to do here is provide as many opportunities and educate you, the people that are listening here, whether it's one person or 10,000 people, how to earn Bitcoin in this world, how to learn about Bitcoin and how to use it and all that stuff. So I understand that you have had people have had experiences in the past with certain types of organizations, certain types of companies, or certain types of people, or a bad sales guy that ripped you off or whatever, you know. And so do your due diligence, which is fine. Don't take our word for it.
We've all been burned with different things, you know.
But if there's an opportunity that is simple, easy to do, and while you're learning about Bitcoin and blockchain, you can earn Bitcoin. Why not at least
help others learn about this? This is
and helping others.
What we need to do here, guys, is we need to create a movement and help educate people out there about this, because they're not learning about it in schools. Okay. And, you know, there's so much opportunity here. And, you know, I'm a believer that if you're not growing, you're dying, right? If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind.
Right.
And, you know, we need to help empower you so you can learn this as much as we do. And so you can go out and help empower others and teach others how to do this, and just open their eyes to what the possibilities are, and open to their eyes to what, you know, the world really looks like in our future. Because if you're not paying attention, you know, people are just going to get kind of stuck here, and they're going to wake up and go, you know, God, what happened here? What is all this stuff? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they got to learn it somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you and I both, our goals are to educate, be as transparent as we can. So, you know, things change, and if things change, we let you know. We're just, you know, Steve and I don't plan what we're talking about here. We don't get together, you know, yesterday and say, hey, let's say these 5 things tomorrow, or even before this. He sends me a link. I click on it. We say hi to each other, and he says, how you doing? And I go, I'm doing great. He's like, let's get into it.
Yeah,
we jump in and we talk about what we would talk about anyway, and you guys are listening in on it.
And you know, we're going to show you. We are going to have a program to show you literally, okay, how to, you know, earn a fortune in Bitcoin in the next 12 months by tapping into a $355 million a day business that Forbes says is going to be $1 billion a day by 2025.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got some really special stuff that we're going to be, you know, sharing with you, and we want to help you get where you want to go and help you bring some other people with you at the same time. So,
yeah, and I want to remind people who we are. You know, Steve here is a master marketer. He's been in the business for ever, basically. He's actually 24. But you know, he's been in the business so long that it's aged him a little bit. And he's ran very large sales organizations. He's brought companies into hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. He's worked with Anthony Robbins. He's traveled the world with them. He's ran masterminds groups at a very high level. And so you're going to learn from him and be able to use all those tools that he's refined. That's the key part, is he's refined these tools where they work, and you're going to be able to use those. And with my background in the technical world, I've been starting software and IT companies since I was 15 years old. The first one was at a company called Tandem Computers, and and then I ran a very successful IT and business consulting company, and I consulted for, if you look at my bio, over $300 billion in projects in my whole lifetime. And so we're not, just fresh chickens out of the coop here. We want to take all our combined knowledge, and that's, Steve and I combined knowledge. We're talking 80 years of combined business knowledge, or
absolutely,
at least, and to help you do exactly what we were just talking about. What Steve just said is learn about Bitcoin and earn some Bitcoin while you're doing that.
Earn while you learn. I mean, I love that idea. Earn while you learn. There's so many people. Education right now is so expensive. I've got a son who's a senior at the Pratt Institute out in Brooklyn. Supposed to be a senior year this year, but they only going to offer a 4% discount, and he has to do it online, right?
Oh, geez.
It's like $67,000 a year.
Okay? Yeah, you don't get that teacher in front of you.
Yeah, so they're going to take a year off. It's like, look, you want to finish your senior year of college. You want to go to school, right? That's what you signed up for.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the process.
But they're going to walk out with a bunch of debt and a bunch of and high hopes that they might get a job in the field that they're going out and getting educated in. And we want to do something totally different. We want to show you how to exponentially earn way more than what it costs for your education. Okay. Exponentially earn way more than what it costs for your education, and show you how that, you get to a certain time in your life, and it's important to go out and start to share with others. And I think that's why Doug and I are really here, to do this. We have done a lot of different things in the past, and, this is the kind of thing that just, makes you feel good. We get up and get to do this every day. We're not selling anything right now. We're not making any money from doing any of this. We're talking to you guys because this is what we love to do.
Yeah.
And, we really want to, help empower you. Like Doug said, I've been a member for the last 8 years now of some very high level masterminds, at least one a year that costs $25,000 a year, for me to attend. And, the guys who facilitate those groups are all making 8 figures a year, online, and they show us exactly what they do to make that, and, so there's a lot of things that we're going to be able to help you with, down the road here. We're just trying to get used to, kind of the show format that we're doing here. And we love talking about the Bitcoin and the digital currency. This is just something that's going to be a lot of fun. And when's your next trip? Are you speaking at any other conferences coming up?
Yeah, there's this conference I was at is being held 2 more times this year, one in July and August. So they had their first one in January, and there's I think about 30 people there, and about 30 people online. This time they had 100 people there and about 300 people online. The next one, I think, is the in-person is limited around 200 or 300. And they already sold out all their tickets with about the same online. So it's growing exponentially. It's growing like Bitcoin, actually. the chart is if you overlay it, it matches. So yeah, I got that going. And then, what the good part is, I met a lot of great people. We're going to be bringing them on this show and interview them. Some people that just are doing some amazing things out there. I mean, the minds that were in that room were great. And, if you walk by them, you wouldn't know that they were that smart. You know what I mean? But you start talking to them, you're like, holy moly, you know your stuff. You're pretty connected. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I got a lot of busy day today, so I'm going to have to jump here.
Okay.
Any other things today you want to add, Doug?
No, but I'll see everybody tomorrow. Oh, did we freeze? Hey, well, so we'll talk to y'all tomorrow.